And then we had enough money in the bank to have a lease. And now we're expanding, and now we have other specialists coming on board. So, but if I would have gone from the beginning, before I got my first study and signed a lease, and then personally guaranteed that lease in my name, I would have been screwed. Like, all the money coming in would have been just to pay the rent, and then how am I going to pay myself anything? I wouldn't have been. So there's a lot of people out there that haven't figured this out. Yes, of course it's better to have your own office space than to share the office space with a private practice. But even when you have money, there's benefits of being integrated in your physician's private practice. You get more referrals, first of all, when you're there. So there's a trade-off too when you go expand into your own place and you don't go to the private practice as often. The providers don't see you as often. The providers are busy. They're going to look around the office for you for a minute or two, and then they'll be over it because they got another patient. So the grass is not always greener on the other side either. So I think those are the two big ones. I think starting from the existing private practice, minimize expenses, having a database of patients from the physician's private practice is the way to go. Another big thing I see if you want to fail as a site owner is don't have a physician with a private practice. Because, yeah, you can run ads. We have things like Patient Ace you could reach out to me about. We could help your site get patient referrals. But if you don't have a private practice to pull from or a guaranteed way of getting attempts of patients, like people to call, that's a physician's database. That's a private practice. You're going to need to call like 20 patients for one of them to show up. And you're going to need to call like 100 of them for like one or two to get random. Because in order to get randomized, someone has to agree first to do a study. That's not all 100 are going to agree. Matter of fact, half of them are not going to answer the phone ever. And the other half are going to say different things. Some might even say yeah, and then they don't show up. Those are called no-shows. So it's a very low accrual rate. And then we're talking about attrition afterwards, and then the protocols are just complex, and the inclusion-exclusion criteria is very strict. So it's a lot more, you need a lot more numbers than you think you do. So those are the three biggest ways to fail as a site owner. If you want to guarantee that you're going to fail as a site owner, those three things: lease a place, and even worse, lease a place, personally guarantee it, and then go crazy with decorations, like buy all this fancy equipment and things and exam tables that patients are never going to lay on, because you're not going to make it that far. You're going to run out of money before you get a good study where you can actually recruit patients. So number one is leasing a place before you start. Don't do it. Partner with a private practice physician. Number two is expecting that you're going to pay yourself right away. It's not going to happen. Plan on 9 to 12 months of no income for you. And number three is not having a consistent place, like a database of patients coming through that you can screen. So that's it. Then there's other things later on: how to find staff, how to train staff. I guess if I would add number 4, it's never hiring or not delegating.